Howdy, folks, and welcome to Moose Podcast 301. Yep, we survived number 300. I want to thank you guys for the outpouring of support and congratulations for making it to number 300. You guys were great. Didn't ask one question all week, just a ton of thank yous, and I can't be more grateful for that. And on the same note, I put up that buy me a cup of coffee. I mentioned it last podcast. And I didn't think it would really, I was like, I figured just one of those things that just wasn't. I have to tell you, I'm totally speechless and blown away all that you guys have done with that click of buy me a cup of coffee. And really, a number of you were super generous and you bought me multiple cups of coffee. So bouncing off the walls all week, not from caffeine, but from the simply feeling the love and the gratitude from your folks has been a tremendous high. I just can't thank you guys enough for that. It means the world to me. So thanks. Also want to thank my good friend at Bedford Camera, bedfords.com, sponsors of the Moose Podcast. Been talking to them a lot lately, in part because I am going to be at the Photo Expo August 4th through 6th at Little Rock. And you guys are going to join me, I know. So that's part of our conversations. Also part of it is they are getting ready to ship the Z400, 45 and the Z30 to me. And, of course, I had to give them the old credit card. But since my name is Moose, I automatically got that 5% discount because I said Moose. You could get the exact same thing, folks. Great service, great inventory, great prices, great people. Bedford Camera, bedfords.com. Thanks ever so much for sponsoring the Moose Podcast. Well, I want to get into this week's episode, which I think might be the new record for length of a title for an episode. What can you add to your equation? As I often do, I was busy listening to various things and heard this very intelligent person say that they were talking to their people, and in trying to get them to, I guess you could say, feel better about themselves and their place in life, they kept asking those folks they're trying to help, what can you add to your equation? And I began to thinking about that for a while because, to be honest with you, I was trying to figure out how I could up my game a little bit with changes that are here at the moment, whether they're long-term or not. Since I've seen so many things come and go in my time in the photo industry, I'm not really so sure about this one because it's kind of social media driven, but you have Instagram that's really pushing videos, and they call them Reels, Reels, as in, I assume, the old movie reel, kind of knock off of that term. And if you sign up for Reels, you can get as much as $1,200 over a 12-month period of time from, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, whatever they're called now. I can't keep up with that stuff. And then there's that. Every time I go to post on Instagram, there's that Reel thing. And then a number of other folks that I work with are really pushing the video, saying it's kind of like, not that stills are dead, even though one person I think kind of implied that, but more that right now to reach people, you need to have moving images rather than a still that moves people. Yeah, you can see where I went off on tangent in my head with that one. But back to this, what can you add to your equation? We all have to look at where we're at, where we want to be, and how we can get there. So in this case, I was wondering how I could add to my equation, improving vastly my video editing skills. For example, if you look at the top of the website, there's the mom and the three cubs, that video clip. I got to tell you, it's driving me crazy that I can't get the white balance in video dead on. It was a funky light that day, and my stills had, a funky white balance to them as well. But with Adobe Camera Raw, and I know it really so well. It's going to be things I'll be teaching in Photoshop world coming up. Just on a side note, masking, light with masking. Anyway, I had no problem bringing the stills to look correct, but that video. So now I'm taking a deep dive into calibration, monitor calibration, white balance, workflow for getting it from my monitor to the computer to you in the World Wide Web. So the one thing I thought I should add to my equation is some processing skills for video, that old editing. And that's what I'm talking about, adding to your equation. I'm not, yes, we could and we probably should talk about adding some gear. But as I've talked many times, I think the greatest thing we can do for improving our photography is, what's between our ears. So is there something that is just when you go to do it photographically, whether it's behind the camera or the computer, either one, that you instantly hesitate, you try to find a way around that particular obstacle? Because that obstacle, you're aware of it, you know of it, you've kind of run up against it, but you've never gone flying past it. It's still in that obstacle category. Is there something like that in your photography that perhaps that you could dive into a little bit and add that now to your equation rather than being something that is subtracting from your photography? And I think if we were to nitpick literally little things just like that we could, in a short period of time, actually improve our photography. Now, should you go so far as creating a list? Nah, because as soon as you do that, then you're making it into a chore, your pros and cons, a to-do list, a honey-do list. Let's leave list out of it. Let's just find that one thing. And for myself, I have decided that one thing is that video editing. And me being me and a little bit stubborn, I know I could ask my son Brent, who knows his stuff inside out, and he could definitely just take me right through it. I decided I'm going to try the old-fashioned way, which is reading a book, looking at some educational videos, experimenting to see if I cannot figure it out myself. And I would encourage you too, not to take whatever you find that you want to add to your equation. Don't take perhaps the easiest route. Make it hard on yourself, because in that process you learn. And in learning, as we all know, when you learn one thing, you actually learn lots of little things that go along with it. That, in photography, they just help. All right, so I mentioned that E word, equipment. What could you add to your equation when it comes to equipment? It's summertime. Many of you are out shooting. And I know I passed a whole lot of you on I-90 going up to Glacier and over to Yellowstone this past weekend because the road was just stuffed with folks. So you're out there. So gear might not be like new gear, big, expensive gear, really kind of like a highlight. But I want to kind of touch on something that I talked about during my conversation with Deborah Sandage, and that is that 400 millimeter lens. Now, the Z400 4.5, I expect in my hands early this coming week. And with that, a couple of things are happening right off the bat. So one, when I have a 180 to 400, When I have a Z7200, I could put a 1.4 or 2x on. And I have an 800. Why? First of all, adding the Z400, 4.5 really helped my equation. There is a number of reasons. The biggest one, which has really nothing to do with any particular project or photograph I have in mind, or anything else other than, I guess you could say, nostalgia, perhaps. First 6 years, all I had was a 400 5.6 EDIF lens. Wasn't autofocus, it was manual. Shot on a gun stock. Most of the times had a 1.4. One time had cops kind of, call me off the marsh to see if I had some sort of machine gun I was out there shooting birds with. That lens taught me so many lessons and captured so many photographs that I still hold near and dear. That nostalgia, fondness for that whole, I want to, and I think we'll come back with that Z400 4.5. So that's one of the crazy reasons why I'm buying it. And I've met many of you who have crazy reasons for buying a lens or a body, which doesn't necessarily have a direct cause and effect purpose. Now, if I go to that extreme or that end of the logic here for why I'm buying that particular lens, it's also for fun. F-U-N, fun. One of the things that Sharon and I really enjoy to do is we put binoculars on our shoulders and we just go out walking for the birds. We just look for birds. And often Maggie is there alongside of us. It's not a quote unquote photographic adventure, journey, sojourn, mission, anything like that. We are out simply for the pleasure of being out. Many a times on those strolls, as you could imagine, a bird appears. And since I always say out loud, I usually mumble it to the bird. In fact, that's close enough I can grab with my hand. I said, if I had a camera with me, you wouldn't come as close. But since I don't have a camera, here you are. Well, with the Z400 4.5, small, light, super sharp little lens, I won't have that problem anymore. I can carry that in a Z9 on a strap on my shoulder and go for a stroll and have a great time. The 180-400, that'd be the ideal for if I'm going after birds on foot, or the 800 on a tripod. But neither one of those lenses lend themselves to holding my wife's hand as I go for a stroll with Maggie. So that's the other real reason for that particular lens. And lastly, there are opportunities here at the ranch, like I just had this evening, a little bit ago with the Fawn twins running down and nursing from mom, that I would just like to have when I'm out doing certain chores around the ranch, just have that with me. And again, carrying the 180-400 or the 800 on a tripod while I'm doing chores just doesn't work. So that's the reason, and that's how that lens is going to add to my equation. I bet if you looked at your own photography, there are some lenses that you don't have a direct reason to have, other than the fact you're a photographer and we have to have gear. Besides that point, right? There is there are glass out there that just grabs your attention. And you've probably have said more than once, I would just like to have that lens. I would just like to have that. Well, perhaps that's what you need to add to your equation. Not that it's going to add a photograph to your portfolio, but perhaps it's just going to up your notch of fun, of love, of passion for photography. And there is absolutely no better reason to buy than that. Another piece of gear I want to mention, I've had a couple people already ask, why am I getting a Z30 when it has no viewfinder? That's a really great question. A couple reasons. One, it's a really small, little, simple camera that does video BTS beautifully. Now, it does not replace the Z9 video or Z9 video capabilities. It's not there to replace that. It's there instead to complement it. It would be the second camera. It is technically going to be Sharon's camera that she's going to use because it's so small, so light, and working with no viewfinder is just not a problem for her. She likes that. That monitor is going to be perfect, and she can carry it along in her pocket easily and have it. It's just like a no-brainer. And you know, that price tag for the body and the 1635, I think it is. The price tag for that combo, I don't think I'm going to stop with one, to be honest with you, because adding that to my equation, number one, I'm really hoping that I will be able to more often and do a better job of getting videos up on YouTube, which I'm really so far behind that it's beyond embarrassing. It's shameful. But producing a video that I want to put on video on YouTube, it takes some time. So Z30 is going to buy me some time with that. Is there something else that you could add to your equation that would help you buy some time? And that might be another way of looking at what piece of camera gear or maybe digital darkroom too, maybe a Wacom tablet would help your time. The possibilities, as you know, are endless. The thing is, you need to ask yourself, in all honesty, okay, what can I add to my equation? And when you think of this, doesn't have to be something that is a need or a want. It could just be a because I want it. I know sometimes it's hard. I realize with current situations that it's not always possible. Doesn't mean you can't call up Bedford and pick up a really nice piece of gear from the used department. Doesn't mean it has to be brand new. Could be from somebody in your camera club. The thing is, think about it. Run that through your mind. What is it that you need, either mentally, physically, technically, equipment-wise, digital darkroom-wise, that can help you move a little bit forward? Don't want to take a giant step. Little baby steps work really well. And that might be what you need to add to your equation. Thanks again ever so much for dropping by, folks. You have a really grand week. And remember to make every click your story.